Welcome to today's Explainer. Look, if you're focused on truly understanding how to safely and accurately diagnose the health of a solar panel, you are in the exact right place. Have you ever stared at a solar panel data sheet and wondered, is this panel actually producing the current it claims it can? Well, measuring the short circuit current, or ISC, is absolutely one of the fastest, most effective diagnostic tests we have in our toolkit. So let's dive right into this, because we're going to unpack exactly how to perform this test safely, step by step, using just your trusty multimeter, and we'll decode what those results actually mean out in the real world.
But first, we really have to address the elephant in the room here. Why do so many multimeters literally blow their fuses, or worse, get permanently destroyed, during what seems like a totally straightforward solar test? I mean, you've probably seen those oversimplified DIY tutorials online, right? The ones where someone just jams their meter probes into a solar panel without a second thought? Well, what they aren't showing you are the hidden dangers, the incredibly high stakes, and the extremely common mistakes that ruin good equipment every single year. So, here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. The hidden testing dangers. 2. Understanding short circuit current. 3. Tools and safety first. 4. The step-by-step test. And finally, 5. Troubleshooting your results.
Let's kick things off with part 1, the hidden testing dangers.
There is this massive disconnect right now between older testing equipment and modern solar tech. Think about it. Many standard handheld multimeters have an internal fuse protection that is strictly limited to 10 amps. But today's modern residential solar modules, they are absolute powerhouses, routinely pushing out 13, 15, or even 18 amps of short-circuit current. If you try to measure an 18-amp panel with a 10-amp meter, there is no way around it. You're going to destroy that meter's fuse instantly. Beyond that, even low-voltage solar modules can create a really dangerous electrical arc at the MC4 connectors if you connect or disconnect them under a heavy load. And then, of course, there are probe placement mistakes, which we are absolutely going to solve today.
Moving right along to part 2, understanding short circuit current.
So what exactly is ISC? Put simply, short circuit current is the absolute maximum current a solar panel can possibly produce for the available sunlight at that moment. This happens when the panel's positive and negative terminals are connected together with essentially zero resistance in the circuit. In this scenario, it's wild, but the multimeter itself actually becomes the load. Because there's virtually no resistance, the panel's voltage basically collapses right down close to 0 volts, and that allows the current to flow at its maximum possible limit.
Now, this brings up a huge area of beginner confusion. A lot of folks incorrectly assume that ISC is the normal operating current of the panel. And actually, scratch that, it's not even close. The crucial point here is understanding the difference between ISC and IMP, which is the maximum power current. Under normal, everyday operation, a panel operates at its maximum power point closer to IMP. And IMP is normally a notably lower value than ISC. When we perform an ISC test, we're intentionally forcing that panel into an abnormal short-circuit state.
But wait a second, you might be wondering, if we're short-circuiting a highly powerful solar panel, why doesn't the whole thing just burn up in a puff of smoke? Well, this brilliantly illustrates the underlying physics using the basic solar power equation. Power equals voltage times current, or P equals V times I. Remember how I just said that during an ISC test, the voltage approaches 0? Well, if you multiply any massive current by a voltage of near 0, the total power delivered is, you guessed it, near 0. So despite all that high current rushing through your meter, there's very little actual power being dissipated. That mathematical reality is exactly why the panel survives this brief short-circuit test completely unharmed.
Of course, the actual number you get on your meter is dictated by the real world, and the real world doesn't always play nice with datasheet numbers. Several factors will actively change your ISC reading. First up is irradiance, basically sunlight intensity. More sun equals higher current. Less sun equals lower current. Then there's shading. Even partial shading from just a single tiny tree branch can significantly tank your measured ISC. Dirt, dust, pollen, they all block incoming light, dropping your numbers. And finally, actual physical cell damage, like microcracks, will severely restrict your current output compared to what you'd expect from the datasheet.
All right, let's get into part 3, tools and safety first.
Let's take a look at a typical solar panel datasheet structure. You are generally going to see 4 main specs: VOC, or open circuit voltage, ISC, which is our short circuit current target for this test, and then VMP and IMP, representing the normal operating voltage and current. When you're looking at your own panel's datasheet, take careful note of the relationship here. ISC is strictly greater than IMP because, again, it represents that absolute maximum available ceiling for current. You absolutely need to know this ISC value up front to ensure your meter can actually handle the test safely. Before you plug a single wire in, let me drill home these major risk points for you and your meter. Risk number 1, selecting the milliamp or low current range on your meter instead of the dedicated high current range. Do that and you'll pop your fuse instantly. Risk 2, exceeding your meter's rating. Never, ever measure a panel whose expected ISC is higher than your meter's maximum capacity. Risk 3, testing multiple panels connected in a string. Just know this is incredibly dangerous. A connected string produces significantly higher current and lethal energy. We are only testing single, isolated panels here. And finally, avoid repeated connector arcing by not constantly plugging and unplugging connectors under strong sunlight, because that creates intense heat damage and pits your contacts.
Now for the fun stuff. Part 4, the step-by-step test. Here is your preparation sequence. Step 1, read your panel datasheet and find that exact ISC target value. Step 2, inspect your meter's fuses and leads, and crucially, move your red test lead from the voltage terminal over to the dedicated high current terminal. Seriously, leaving probes in the wrong terminal destroys meters every single year. Step 3, turn your meter selector to DC current mode. Not AC, not voltage, not continuity, DC current. And step 4, position the solar panel in clear, fully unobstructed sunlight, completely free from shadows or nearby structures.
Okay, now we execute. Step 5, disconnect the solar panel from all other equipment, the whole shebang. It must not be connected to charge controllers, batteries, or inverters. You are measuring the isolated panel directly. Step 6, connect one meter lead to the panel's positive conductor and the other to the negative. The multimeter now completes the circuit. Allow the reading to stabilize for just a second and record your value. Step 7, compare your newly measured reading against that datasheet specification. And Step 8, disconnect the meter carefully in one smooth, confident motion to avoid any repeated arcing.
As soon that test is done, I want you to build this critical habit immediately, and I mean right that second. Move the red probe back to the voltage terminal. This is honestly the single most important takeaway from meter safety today. If you leave it sitting in the current terminal and then later try to go measure the voltage of, say, a battery, you will instantly create a dead short circuit right through your meter. Moving it back right away literally prevents those accidental, day-ruining meter failures.
Let's wrap up with part 5, troubleshooting your results. So, what if you get a lower reading? Well, a low number does not automatically mean you have a broken panel on your hands. You really have to consider the environmental context. First, check the time of day and the solar angle. I mean, a test at 9 a.m. is going to yield a much lower current than a test right at high noon. Cloud cover, or even a slight haze in the sky, drops irradiance. Then you want to check the physical condition. Are the connections loose? Is there unseen corrosion? Is the glass just super dirty? If all the environmental factors are perfect, the glass is clean, and the reading is still drastically low, well then you might be looking at actual panel degradation issues, things like damaged cells, delamination, or water ingress. Always make sure to test under strong, midday sunlight for the most meaningful comparison. At the end of the day, a properly performed ISC test is an essential diagnostic superpower that cuts right through the guesswork, allowing you to evaluate your panel's health accurately and, most importantly, safely. So here is my final challenge to you. Get out there, safely apply these 8 steps, and check your own panels. What was the datasheet claiming, and what current did you actually measure out there in the real world? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Stay safe out there with your multimeters, and keep learning.